No, what was the last thing that you said? As far as you said that we're in a time.
We're ending a time.
Mm-hmm.
We're ending a time of age because everything goes in cycles. Everything has a cycle, and you can tell that through nature. And so we're ending like a 2,600-year cycle, and now we're moving into a new cycle. And the old structure is dismantling, and that's because Earth is evolving herself. So as she evolves, we evolve.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going, so the structure has to dismantle completely because we're going to start new.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going, so.
Sorry, 1 second. Yes, I'm listening.
And so we're going to start new. And that means that all structures, your mind, your body, earth, all the structures that you see on the outside, all those structures are going to dismantle.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if we like it or not.
Yes.
They're going to dismantle. And so that's why we're seeing and hearing all these things coming to the surface that we do not want to feel because they hurt, a lot of pain. But these are things that have to come to the surface in order for it to dismantle and start new. So personal relationships, all of it. And if we don't deal with that, I believe that the challenge is going to be more, it's going to be harder to deal with as we go on if we don't start dealing with those emotions now. It's I'm kind of glad, Asiya, that this stuff is happening, because I'm tired of us playing the victim about everything.
Yeah.
You know, they doing this to me and they doing that to me, and it's who is they? We're actually doing it to ourselves and not actually going within to deal with what is going on right now, because we've always placed the blame on somebody else. And since we've always placed the blame, and now what you see in front of you is what we have sown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's coming apart myself. You know, we're going to go through some rough times, but it's going to make people come together. It's going to unite people because they're not going to have a choice but to come together as one to make things happen. Or, you know, there's no compassion anymore. The compassion is gone. And I noticed our president, Trump, I might not agree with a lot of the things that he's doing or what he has said, but he is bringing everything to the surface. And only thing he is doing is showing us who we really are at this moment. The masses, what is going on in the masses. So I'm glad it's happening, but my question now is to myself, what is my role in all of this? And I believe that human design is going to show me what my role is. As long as I get out of the way and follow my design, I won't go through the difficult challenges that are that we're going to be facing, as long as I'm following my design. And that's why I believe in human design. Right now, we don't know how to take care of ourselves. We don't know how to operate these bodies. All we know how to do is speak out of the ego, speak out of the mind, which is not really even us, who we are. So I believe human design is, this is why I have chosen human design as my new tool. And I use astrology, I use numerology, but to actually operate here on this planet and know where my place is, fitting into the puzzle, human design is going to show me how to do that. And it's going to show my children. My children, since I have been observing and watching them, I haven't really said much to them about their human design, about their, authority. And strategy and authority. But other than that, they are operating the way that they're supposed to operate. I might have to say a few little things to them. Watch your tone, or where's your attitude today? Teenagers, those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. But if I'm really paying attention to them, they're actually showing me. They're actually showing me. So I'm excited to go into this new transition, the new structures. We don't know what they're going to look like, but I'm just glad it's happening. I am. They really need to dismantle so that we can come together again, so we can build something new and build something that we've never seen before, in these physical bodies at this time. Build something new. So that's all I have to say for right now.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. You made a lot of good points, and I wanted to when you brought up the cycle that that we're ending, and we're stepping into a new cycle. I've been learning more about the cycles within the cycles within the cycles, and one of the cycles that I've talked about openly on my videos is how we are coming out of the cycle of dealing with community and dealing with hierarchies, and the era that pretty much established all of these structures and the school system, and even down to the aid that is provided for natural disasters, like the Red Cross, like all of these different systems that deal with the community and coming to support other people despite the the crookedness that's involved in a lot of those things. All of those structures have been established in the last 400 plus years, according to when you look at the human design cycles. But of course, that 400-year cycle that deals with community and people being more tribal and hierarchical structures, that's a cycle within an even bigger cycle. And then we end up looking at the 26,000 year cycles and all of that. But one of the things that I have been very much aware of is how we are moving into an era that deals with individuality. So we're ending this cycle that deals with community and people being supportive of one another, and that technically, when you follow the genetic structure of the way in which the seasons and the times of the year operate, that ends in 2027. And that's right around the corner, and we're already seeing how the world is breaking away from religions and breaking away from hierarchical tribal type structures, and everyone is starting to move into what they want to do as an individual. So we're feeling the energy. We're seeing how that movement is taking place. And one of the themes of the era that we're leaving is the channel of community, which you have, the 3740 channel. And I did a video last year on that, where I think it was from like the end of October into like December or something like that. The whole world was activated with the channel of community. And I gave some details on how that energy operates, because that energy is what we have been operating under for the last 400 something years. And that channel of community is what has created what is now falling apart. So I know a lot of people, that have the channel of community, and you being one of them. I listen to the way in which you all express the importance of community, because it's embedded in your design as an individual. But at the same time, how do you feel in knowing that that energy that is natural for you and something that you will always be driven towards is like coming to a close, and everyone is moving into a more selfish, self-absorbed, all about me and me being in my lane type of energy, to where we're seeing it like it's harder to find people who genuinely care about another person, that genuinely like want to be of assistance and want to operate in a community type way. Like we're seeing all of that get real shaky, and we're seeing families falling apart. We're seeing, everything that deals with tribal hierarchy is falling apart. So what have you experienced in dealing with this change of planetary energy, but then you still having like your own set way that deals with this past era that we're completing, from now until 2027. But, when you look at a 400-year cycle, it's like this is pretty much done. These last 10 years of a 400+ year cycle is like, it's over, and we're only going to see the continuation of things collapsing. And like you said about Trump, that he definitely represents a very individual. I don't care what anybody has to say about me. I don't care how crazy I talk. I'm not concerned about any of you people. I'm doing what I want to do. He's a perfect representation of the upcoming energy. So how does that make you feel?
Actually, it has allowed me to set my boundaries. I've always been one to pull, people together and unite people together. But that takes a lot of energy. I believe that community is going to look, I think it's still going to be there. I just think it's going to look different.
Yes.
I just think it's going to look different. And how different, I don't know. But it still has to be there for us to be one. It's just going to look different. But I'm feeling a little bit liberated, because I can be who I am without dragging other people, thinking that I have to drag other people along with me in my tribe.
Yes.
And using human design, you know, knowing that I am a hermit, that I am the opportunist, that hermit allows me to just sit back and just watch, just observe what is going on. And then if someone needs me, then they'll come to me. It's not like I'm running after them and like I'm calling all my my family, hey, you coming in for here and the wedding, or you coming to this, or you coming to that, and planning and trying to get everything together. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And trying to get everybody to get along, it's a lot of work. So I'm feeling a little bit liberated. I'm going to miss that kind of essence, but I believe it's going to be there, but it's just going to look different.
Right.
But it has allowed me to set boundaries. It has allowed me to explore who I am and where I come from, and, you know, getting into things like energy healing, you know, just exploring that there is something else than just community.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you so I'm in the workforce, and that sector or that component in that computer is going to be devastated because they're so used to being attached to this entity. And this entity is becoming individual. It's not about the people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be a devastation in that. So, because I was at one time on my job, always fighting for the people. The company can't do this to the people. And probably about 8 months ago, I stopped doing that because I felt that that was not my responsibility. So the responsibility is being lifted, I feel, from me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I'm feeling. I really am feeling relieved. Really, very relieved. It feels good just to be able to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to sit back and just observe. And like I said, if someone needs me for, you know, help with anything, if I have the energy to do it, I'll do it. If it feels right, you know, going on my intuition, not really my feelings anymore. Because I believe we're moving more into a time where we need to be connected with our spirit more.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Our feelings keep us attached.
Mm-hmm.
Keep us attached to what does not serve us. And so that's why it's important, I'm feeling, as we move forward, that we need to get in touch with our intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And not our feelings, because our feelings is what kept us in this mess. So I'm feeling really good about it. You know, I see the changes with my children and I. You know, we play a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not so angry, you know, because I got to go to work and I got to come home and take care of them. And it's not like that because I'm actually teaching them to be an individual.
Right.
I'm
right.
actually teaching them to learn how to be self-sufficient and take care of themselves.
Yes.
Because no one else can do it for them.
Right.
I can't
right.
do it for them. I didn't even know how to feed my children. I didn't know how to feed myself. You know, so, and I'm talking about feeding food, even putting food in their bellies, you know, because what my body needs isn't what their body needs. So I'm teaching them to use their intuition, to use their body, and to tell me, you know, what do you need? You know, what does your body need? What do you need to give yourself energy? What do you need? So it's been good, actually. It's been sad, but it's been really good.
Wow. That's I feel like only only a person who it has some level of awareness of their design can respond like that, because you know your incarnation cross is dealing with this era that we're completing. So that being the dominating energy and the channel community being the dominating energy, I know it's a lot of people that are feeling more devastation from the breaking of loyalty, because that's what that channel is about. It's about loyalty. It's about bargains. It's about, hey, I will provide my willpower, you know, as long as you know, are loyal to this tribe, to this community. And to see, I've been hearing a lot of stories in regards to, you know, that energy, and it's a lot of upset people because they feel like victims. Of course, they feel that they're being wronged by people that you know were supposed to be longtime friends, or you know, family is supposed to stick together, you know, all of these tribal laws, and it's just like dissolving out of nowhere. For them, it seems like that. It's like, you know, how could you just up and like break this loyalty? But to hear, you know, to hear you say that, you know, that that's very powerful, because it's rare. Like it's not too many people that are comfortable with the breaking of this this community tribal type energy. And with the channel of community also being, you know, a very strong emotional channel, I've definitely seen, you know, how the out of control emotions operate within this channel, because in the way the hope to pain wave moves within the channel of community, it builds up, you know, the frustrations and the aggravations build up. And what tends to happen is that you all don't speak immediately when you're feeling the buildup of that emotional energy. And then once your solar plexus gets full, then it'll be that one petty thing that just makes a whole, you know, month or multiple weeks of something just explode out, you know. And that's the way that this wave operates, and is very it's very harsh. It's a very harsh emotional outburst. And it's consistent, it's constant, because so many people have this energy. And with this being the energy that the whole world has been under, we can actually just reflect on what we've experienced in our lives and see how there's always like a rise and a fall of emotional energy. And whenever, you know, something comes out, is in this outburst dealing with emotions and feelings. And you made a very good point in regards to this is a time where we need to be, or where we're moving into being more connected to our spirits and our intuition, because that's exactly what this next era that starts in 2027 is about. It's about your spirit, and it's about individuality, and it's about selfishness. So we're going to see, you know, more people getting out of the whole like things like romance, you know, like a lot of us have been, you know, like raised on romantic, you know, stories. And, you know, a lot of people have dreams of being in certain types of relationships based on romance, but that's more unrealistic these days than, you know, in the previous years, because the time for that is coming to a close. And you're seeing people that you know, may have had like this strong love. You're seeing them just kind of get like to a point to where they want to just do their own things. They're not really concerned about the romance anymore. They're not looking, you know, to be in a committed marriage anymore. And that's another thing with the channel community. That's the marriage channel. So all of these, you know, we're seeing all of these components that come from that community energy and that tribal energy. You know, we see the divorce rate. We see, you know, the short-term relationships. We see, you know, people that really just come together and you know, reproduce and kind of keep it moving and go their separate ways. We, you know, we're seeing it. And a lot of people are not able to because they're not even aware of what's going on. And we're all programmed from the energies of this previous era. It's like everyone is having some level of like separation anxiety, you know, from having to leave what has been passed down to us for multiple generations, and we're going into something that's literally going to be brand new for everyone. Nobody, we can see what's coming, but you still don't know how it's going to play out until you actually experience it. We're not going to know what the next era is like until we get to 2027 and beyond and start really seeing how the new children are coming in. Because we're seeing it now. We're seeing how the children are now with their frequency, but when 2027 comes in and we are officially out of this era, it's going to be a whole nother ball game. And a lot of people just aren't going to know what to do. And I feel that is tied into a lot of people who are finding, you know, ways to numb themselves. They're finding ways to be distracted all of the time. They're, you know, when it comes to the drugs and, you know, there's just a lot going on to where you can tell that people are not aware of these changes. They're not grounded. They haven't been taught anything that deals with individuality, but there's this pull, there's a genetic pull to be unique and be different. But then there's also all of this conditioning that's, you know, mixing in with a person trying to find out who they are, but then, you know, they're confused by, you know, what's still being passed down. But deep down inside, genetically, the younger people especially know that what grandma and, you know, even their parents are telling them, it's like it just doesn't fit with me as a young person in 2027. Mm-hmm. So there's a, you know, there's a lot. One second. There's a lot. There's just a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of clashing, and you know, for you to have this level of awareness, and then, you know, operate with your children, you know, especially having boys, you know, operate with them to where you recognize like, hey, you know, I can't live for you. You need to know how to take care of yourself, because, you know, it's a whole nother energy coming that mommy can't, you know, isn't really gonna be able to help you with. You know, that's something that you're going to have to, you know, move into alone. And it's important, you know, it's really important that the younger people, the ones that are that have parents like you, are informed and, you know, are taught certain things, because they're going to be getting pulled at by this old energy, you know. But at least if they have something that resonates more because it fits more with who they are, and it fits more into the energy that's coming in stronger than this older energy that's leaving out, is something that they'll feel a resonance towards more than the stuff that is still trying to be put on them, that just doesn't fit, you know, with their frequency. So yeah.
I think last week when we were talking, and I was saying, yeah, I think I want to be, I want to shift the money from over here to over here with, you know, this community over here. And I had to stop myself. And I was like, why do I feel that I really need to do that?
Mm-hmm.
To move the money from this tribe, you might as well say, over to this tribe. Because that's what basically I was thinking. And I had to stop myself. I said, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. That's so I had, even with dealing with my parents, you know, they're elderly. My dad is 83. My mom is 70. And I go see them, but I don't hang around like I used to. And I always say, if you need me, call me, you know, I'll be there. But not feeling the need that it's my responsibility to take care of them. Because I feel, Asiya, that they've put themselves in that predicament. You know, that's their karma. I have to think about that stuff. It's their karma. This is what they have to play out together. And I can't interfere with that. It's like I would be interfering. And I'm not saying not help them, but just stepping back and let them instead of reaching out to me all the time for help. My mother is really seeing how independent that I am becoming and not being dependent. Because most of my relationships have been codependency. Codependency relationships. And so I've been separated since 2012. And now it's like, okay, so why am I still holding, you know, why am I still holding on? Because I was still thinking of the family, being in community, you know.
Yes.
But it's time to let it go. And there's a lot of things that I have been seeing that's dealing with community that I see that is really dismantling. Especially in my family,
Yeah.
But we are in a time where we are going to have to become aware. We're going to have to get informed, especially these mothers of these children, because they are the ones that they're the teachers, and they need to really step up and say, I can't have this for my children, for their future. They're really going to have to pay attention to them and ask them, allow them to start making decisions for themselves. You know, I told my 15-year-old, he broke his phone, something with his phone. I said, well, you better figure out how you're going to get the money to fix it, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to just hand you $200 because he's the one that dropped the phone, didn't have the screensaver on it. We had bought him, my mother bought him a screensaver, the protector that goes on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he stuck it in his gym bag and it shattered. And he didn't tell anybody, and he didn't tell me until yesterday. So this has happened, what, 2 months ago? And now you want $200? No. So you figure out how you're going to bring in $200. You know, are you going to work around the house? Are you going to go outside? What are you going to do for that $200?
Mm-hmm.
So teaching them that you have responsibilities, that you just can't keep reaching to me to give you everything that you need.
Yeah.
All the time. But the mothers are really going to have to step in, and the fathers are going to have to too. They're going to have to, and I'm saying the mothers right now because it's a lot of single mothers out there.
Yes.
And they need to start paying attention to their children. Pay attention to what they need for themselves. And as they pay attention to what they need for themselves, then they'll start knowing what their children need. But until then, they're going to be dragged down into that era, you know, to that community or tribe, or until they understand that they have to take care of themselves first. And I'm not saying go out here, get your nails done and get your, not that. I'm talking about the inner work of taking time to know you, know who you are deep down, know your spirit, connect with your spirit, so that you can be guided to know what your children need. A lot of single mothers don't do that. You know, it doesn't cost to have a spa bath in your bathroom. You can do that. That's taking care of yourself. You don't have to spend really much money to do that. So take care of yourself. Because if we don't do it, the cycle's going to keep going and going and going. You're going to keep reincarnating and reincarnating.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And it's, you know, I agree with it. And as straightforward as it is, in me just studying, you know, different scenarios, different types of people, different situations, families, it's so many layers when it comes to that a single mother or single mothers being able to just follow through on that, because it makes all of the sense in the world. But I think about how a lot of children that have come into the world were not planned. You know, they a lot of the single mothers did not were not really ready, you know, to have children. It was more of the body was on a mission to do its duty of reproducing. Mm-hmm. And consciously, you know, many women were just not thinking that, you know, this time that I was, you know, spending, you know, having my sexual fun and pleasure was going to turn into a lifelong responsibility. And it's amazing to me, you know, just how our bodies always know what to do to keep the species alive, but the body is not operating according to the matrix. It's not as in meaning that it's not operating according to, you know, we live in a money system, and, you know, we have this structure that's been created by the government, and, you know, the body doesn't care about those things. The body is just like, hey, all I know is that the species has to stay alive, so I'm going to set up a situation to where we find the right genetic match, and we're going to do this thing. And, you know, the two individuals involved, they don't know what this is really about, but the bodies are fully aware that, oh, we got together for, you know, to complete our process of reproduction. So, you know, you have very young children who have this type of energy that's capable of reproducing. You hear about 10, 11-year-olds that get pregnant. So, and, you know, think about a 10 or 11-year-old parent, like, oh my God, can't even fathom, for real, but it happens. So you have these situations to where the minds have not even been fed the right type of teachings, the right type of nurturing that deals with self-sustainment, that deals with anything in regards to being a parent that can even instill these type of things into a child. Because the mindsets of a lot of mothers, even when they're in their 20s or 30s, are still childlike mindsets, because the parents of those mothers did not, you know, are coming from generations that didn't, you know, it's like an emptiness. It's an emptiness when it comes to delivering these type of teachings that you're speaking of, which, you know, we know is necessary. But look at all of the years that it was not taught, it was not instilled in us.
Right.
And we, you know, the result, I feel, is single mothers. You know, the result is not having, you know, a lot of households that have both parents, because if the women don't understand what's happening on a conscious level, then of course the men aren't going to understand, because, you know, we give birth to the men. So if we're not instilling, if the women and the mothers aren't instilling that type of information in the women, then it's definitely not being instilled into the men. So you have men who all they know genetically is that, hey, you know, I'm here to sperminate. You know, I'm here to release my seeds. There's no awareness of responsibility that comes with, oh, you just got somebody pregnant. That next part to it is non-existent. So, you know, there's a huge disconnect. And because we are literally at the death of one era, going into the beginning of a new era, I feel that the humans that are on the planet right now, we're in a structured and patterned but very chaotic situation, because what's happening is definitely like structured. Is you can see that it's happening according to plan, but the way that it's playing out based on the levels of consciousness of the people on the planet is very chaotic, because the mind is saying one thing, but the bodies are doing something completely different. And that's why, you know, human design comes into play with helping people to get in balance, because you get to really become aware of, oh my God, like my body is literally going in this direction over here, but my mind is trying to make me do all of these other things over here. And think of all of the people that can't even recognize that, and their minds are just pulling them and disconnecting their bodies from grounding and being balanced and, you know, moving according to what's correct. You know, it's very difficult right now for people to be able to take what you said and actually apply it, because it's just, we're in a very unique time.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that, because I've been there, but I guess I had the you know, according to my design, but I had the will and the determination change my life. But my question is, since do you see us humans not even reproducing? I wonder if that's going to come a time where that's not even going to be, because I believe that we're moving out of the body.
Yeah, you're hitting on some major points that I can definitely I can give some insight on based on just studying the errors and, you know, the transitions that we're making. Reproduction is naturally going to is the population is going to lessen, because what's happening is if you just look at, for instance, we're talking about single mothers, we're talking about, you know, all of these, you know, children that are kind of like, you know, they don't really have the right guidance, they don't have, you know, both parents in the household, which is definitely necessary for a child to have, you know, a certain type of genetic balance in their early stages and growing up. We're seeing all of the disconnections within the children based on the bodies, you know, knowing to reproduce, but the mind's not really having the awareness that, you know, me doing this sexual thing can really like put me in a lifelong situation. So in looking at that, it takes, it's like everything is like this continuation. It takes for us to be at this place to where we have so many single mothers, we have so many broken households, for it to be evident, like to where nobody can deny that there is a lack of communication, there's a lack of awareness going on in these past generations. So in seeing that, it's like, okay, we can say that we're, I don't want to call it mistakes, but we can say that we're learning from putting ourselves in situations unconsciously that if we were conscious of, we probably would not have. So it's like the continuation of that is, as we move into this new era of like you said, getting, you know, out of the body and more into your spirit, more into emotional intelligence, not emotional, you know, outbursts and, you know, emotional upheaval, emotional intelligence, to where people are going to start recognizing, I feel an attraction to you. I feel this emotion coming up when I connect with you. But instead of how we operated in the previous era, to where we blindly just like fell into that because we think that we're in love, or we think that I'm supposed to be with this person for the rest of my life. Instead of looking at it like that, you're recognizing that in this moment, my body recognizes this emotional, you know, feeling and this attraction to you. Now, because I have a more conscious awareness, I can say, okay, I know where this can go. I know that I can lay down with you and create a child, but I'm at a different place now in my awareness, in my spirit awareness, in my emotional intelligence. So I can really have a conversation with you, as opposed to, you know, we just go with that attraction and then end up dating, end up in a relationship, and we didn't get to know each other. You know, we don't know each other's history. We don't know anything about each other. And, you know, now we live together and all of these different things. All of that is falling apart now. You know, you still have the people that, you know, are very much wanting to be in a romantic type situation, but we have too much evidence of the problems that have come from just blindly following emotions and attractions without knowing what is really going on. And it's about reproduction, and having that conscious awareness. you're going to have more people that are saying, oh no, I'm not going to follow that. I'm not going to follow that feeling because I know where it's going. So I can see how, you know, in the next few generations, the population is not going to be the way that it is now. Like we had you know, the baby boomers, you know, there was just this explosion of children on the planet, you know, but people are just, you know, it's like you have to have these things happen and have these problems come about for people to get wise and say, I have to, you know, I have to be more aware before I allow my my sexual energy to put me into this situation. So I definitely don't feel that we're going to get to a point to where we just don't reproduce at all, but it's going to be much more intelligent. There's going to be like real conversations between people to where it's like, okay, are we realistically, based on this world that we live in, are we in position to start a family? You know, are we capable? You know, what are your values? What are your morals? You know, like these are the things that even now you're seeing different types of relationships being established that, you know, are way past just monogamy or polygamy. You know, people are exploring more with being able to be themselves and still enjoying the connection with another, but not to where it's like, oops, it's a baby involved and now I can't stand you. You know, and you know, it's all of these other issues going on. So we're right now, it seems as if we're in this place to where as a collective we're experimenting, we're trying to find our way out of all of these issues with just having this explosion of children on the planet and finding a balance to where, you know, we can see that, okay, the children need some structure, they need some type of order because they're doing too much at early ages because there's no supervision, there's the right things are not being instilled in them for them to know how to navigate and move about in a way to where they're not destroying themselves. So, you know, that's my take on it. That's how I feel we're, you know, this continuation is moving.
My concern now is with these structures that are being dismantled. You know, what is going to happen with these children? You know, what, you know, yeah, because I mean, a lot of children, you know, are really are under these structures, you know, being helped to be taken care of, right? So if, you know, the government's not going to be giving this money and all, what is going to happen?
Oh yeah, the government's done. Like Social Security is done. Like for people that think that they about to get like a pension or, you know, like all of that is done. We're seeing the ashes. We're seeing the remains of that. And a lot of people, they see it, but they're refusing to believe that is over.
Right.
Like there's not going to be that type of assistance anymore. You know, so it really is about to be every man for himself.
Yeah. And my concern is the children, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't, well, maybe. I'm not going to say they didn't, but, you know, they came into this. So I just wonder what the plan is. What is going to be the plan to during the shift with the children? It might be that a lot of them, you know, leave the planet.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, but, you know, we don't know. There's going to be a lot of people leaving the planet because they can't stand the energies are going to be too much for them, for their bodies to take. or they just don't feel like they want to go through what's coming up, and they're just going to say, okay, I'm ready to go. But maybe they would, maybe a lot of them will just leave. I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to watch. And the thing is to stay as grounded as you can, you know,
and save your energy. And
save your energy.
Yeah, I've been pressing that, you know, for the last couple of years, you know, like this is not the time to be blowing your energy all over the place, because you're going to need it. You're really going to need it. And, you know, you can see it coming, but, you know, people are getting energetically hijacked. You know, people are, you know, stuck in habits that got them, you know, just running around doing all types of stuff. And it's like, ask yourself, you know, and if you're someone that, you know, has a lifestyle to where you can't get just an hour of alone time to just sit with yourself. You know, if you have one of those very hectic and busy lifestyles, what if something like happened to where you had to evacuate the city? You know what I'm saying? If you had to just like, you know, instantly just get up and be on pure survival mode, would you have the energy? Would you be coherent enough to be able to make a move instantly? And most people, because of their lifestyles, there's no way, because they got so much bombarding them with dealing with their jobs and with school, with children, all of these different things. And it's like, I think about the what you call it, the fires, the California fires. You know what I'm saying? Those people just all of a sudden was being evacuated, and they come back to a demolished neighborhood, ashes. Their homes have been turned to ashes by fires, so-called fires. Yeah. But we're not gonna get into that. But just think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about if that was you. It's not like that was on some other area of the planet. That was in California. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's close to home for the people in the United States who feel like, you know, things just can't happen to them. It's like your house by itself could catch on fire. So, you know, anything could happen to where you have to make a move. And it's like, it's only when like a real emergency comes up that you really see what you've been doing and how you've been living your life and how you've been operating. You know, and I think people, we know everyone is distracted in some type of way, just simply by what, you know, technology, you know, social media. Like, we're constantly being bombarded with distracting stories, and it keeps people from even thinking about the possibility of real life stuff happening outside of your tablet or your computer. Right. And it's not to instill fear in anyone, but it's just, it's realistic. Because, you know, how much longer we don't have a president. How about that? We do not have, no one is in office. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, people thought it was sweet when Obama was in office, and realistically, when you look back at it, Obama didn't do anything. He didn't do a thing. People were just feeling good because he was black. Yep. But at the end of the day, like, if you just really reflect on things, it's like, yo, we are zombied out. You know what I'm saying? Like, the collective is zombied out. Yeah. Really, I felt that. I'm just going to throw this out there. I mean, energy was taken from me because, like, I'm just saying, the insurance. You know, if you don't have insurance and you go file your taxes, that's $1,000 that you got to pay that you didn't have to pay a couple years ago. So the truth, you're telling the truth about, when something goes down, you're going to see where your energy went. Mm-hmm. You're going to see if you're going to be able to get out of the situation
or manipulate the situation or manipulate the energy within the situation to get out and to change and do something new, because you always have to be ready, because everything is always changing. Nothing stays the same. It might look like it's staying the same, but it's not staying the same. And you're telling the truth, Asiya, about when something goes down, you're going to see where your energy went.
Yep.
You're going to see it. It's going to be it's going to be some interesting times. Just hone in on your energy, especially your thoughts. You know, your thoughts create everything. Everything.
Yeah.
And whatever you think about, you might not see it right then, but it's going to come around for you to see, or for you to act on, or for you to respond to. Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so we're
So
definitely
how are you feeling through all of this?
I'm actually I'm at peace with everything, because I feel stupid if I'm not. Like, I mean, I don't even know a better way to explain it, because it's like I have realized that, you know, I somehow in the way that I'm designed, the way that I have lived my life since, you know, my early 20s, I have managed to just avoid all of the situations that people that are like, you know, really in the matrix are in. And in me having, you know, all the time in the world to just be in my own energy, not be on anybody else's schedule, I'm able to really do what I want to when I want to. That's like a luxury. And I didn't really recognize that until more recently, that, you know, so many people, they can't get 5 minutes to themselves. Me, like, the thought of that makes me feel like I would go crazy. Just like, you 5 minutes, you can't get 5 minutes, and I get every day, all day to do what I want to do. I'm like, wow, like, I'm really in a position to where it's a luxury. So I'm at peace with everything, but at the same time, I'm connected to, I mean, I do human design, so I'm literally connected to the whole genetic matrix, which connects me to the whole world. And I can't sit here and not take the opportunities that I have to have this luxury, and not come up with solutions for people, or not provide some type of assistance to people who can find time or can find the energy to want to understand how to operate and how to navigate and be more self-empowered within themselves. So I'm at peace within myself, but then I'm still like uneasy, because me, you know, yes, we're all individuals. We all have our own journeys. We're, you know, nobody's gonna leave with you, you know, like, that's what it is. But I'm still a part of everyone else. So I feel the pains of other people. I feel the problems. I see where people are stuck, you know, and I feel that stuckness when I connect to them, and I'm like, dang, I wish I could do something. I wish I could help. So I know how important it is for me to be grounded and be at peace, more so than being engulfed in somebody else's problems and then like being in a whirlwind with them, because somebody has to be able to, you know, have that balance when it comes time to make a move, because it's a lot of people, once again, like, if something came up that completely snatched them out of their comfort zone to where they had to do something completely different, move differently, live differently, it would like be a shock to their system. And me, you know, I know that I have the ability to see in so many different directions. I would be able to bring some level of peace and balance by knowing, you know, it's the fact that I know a lot of people more than they know themselves. It's like I have to do something with that. You know, I can look at a person who doesn't know that they're a projector and say, okay, if they were in a situation, I know what to tell them that they will resonate with because I'm speaking to their DNA. I'm speaking to their code, and it will give them something that will help them to move along, you know, and that is fulfilling for me. But, you know, this human design is satisfying, and it brings me peace, but this is like a survival tool. Like, this is really about like establishing a new frequency within yourself, which will establish a new frequency within the next beings that are coming. So it's deeper, like it's deeper than, you know, what it looks like. And yeah, I have to be, you know, I have to be grounded. Like I have to be in this frequency in order to deal with all of these issues that the world is dealing with.
And how long have you been studying human design? You've been
2014.
2000.
So,
and I think I've said this before, Asiya. Out of all the human design people that have been doing human design for years, like 20 years or more, whatever, however long Roz had it out, I think you have taken it to another level of understanding. And I do believe because you really try to know who you really are. And not really play on what is going on out in the world. So I've seen a lot of teachers of this want to teach it in a way that people want to hear it. You don't do that. You really teach from the design. And that's what I really like. It's very comprehensive, very understandable. It's not complex. And if anybody's out there listening, I would recommend getting a reading for yourself. And if you have children, getting a reading for your children, because it would definitely start shifting your mindset, and it will change your life just a little bit. Just knowing your strategy and authority, just knowing that can shift just the little things in your life. It has mine, you know. I still have a lot to look at in my design, but just knowing my authority, you know, even if I want to go to the grocery store, I have to let somebody know, just to let them know I'm going to the grocery store. I used to didn't do that, and my family would get so mad because I would just go out. I would just leave the home, and they used to get mad, and I would stay like 2-3 hours at a time. And I started to let them know, and they were like, okay. So it's just good to know your authority and strategy and authority. She gone? You gone, Asiya? Where'd she go?